Good morning. I've woken up a little bit tired this morning. I can't lie. Um, but we're in for push on this bank holiday Easter Monday. We're gonna go and hit the gym as soon as it opens for 6 a.m. It's currently about 5:20. So I'm gonna go and get myself ready, have my pre-workout, and run you through my push session. I'm really excited for today's session actually, even if I'm a little bit tired. Because I do like training push and haven't done so in the past, but more recently started to enjoy push sessions a lot more, and particularly the Atlantis. So yeah, let's go and scran the pre-workout and let's get in the gym for push day.
Mala fama, se la pasan diciendo que soy mala, porque no me aguanto drama de nada. Dime si vienes a mi cama, a mi cama. Mala fama, se la pasan diciendo que soy mala, porque no me aguanto drama de nada. Dime si vienes a mi cama, a mi cama, a mi cama, a mi cama. Dime si vienes a mi cama, a mi cama, a mi cama.
Now, my training split has been the same for the last 32 weeks or so. I might have changed one or two exercises here and there, but for the large part, it's been very, very much the same. Now, I'm not saying that you have to have a training program going on that long, but it's really important you have exercises that you enjoy and that work for you and the physique that you're striving towards. What I'll do on my push day is I start with lying cuff laterals and just warm up by just basically doing a few reps on the lightweight just to get blood flow to the side delts and get the body primed for that movement. And then we have 3 sets which gradually work up in terms of rep ranges. So the first set we're sort of working towards 8 to 10 reps. Second set is 10 to 12 reps, and then more so to do sort of like 15 and beyond reps for the third and final set. And then following cuff laterals, we'll move on to the Atlantis. After Atlantis, it's the pec fly. After pec fly, we then have, not after the Atlantis, it's a vertical chest press. Then it's the pec fly. After the pec fly, it's then the prime lateral, so more side delt action, but just hitting it at a different angle. And then a bit of tricep and some ab work to finish. So it's not my longest session in terms of volume, which means I can push a little bit harder because I have got less volume, and I know that my recovery should be a lot better in between sets. Same approach in terms of like warming up for chest by just doing a few reps, building up towards my working set. So if they're like this, I started warming up at 120, up to 160, then up to 180, because my working set at the moment is 185, which I got for 7 last week. Now you'll find with push sessions, because you go for a cut, that's the area that starts to get weaker first. But again, I talk about it a lot. It's to do with your mindset, your mentality. So I'm not going in this thinking, I'm a couple of pounds lighter. So I'm therefore going to, be a lot weaker effectively on this. I'm still going to aim to get at least 7 at 185. Leaving good clean reps during the set and just pushing every last sort of ounce I can for it, because I want to maintain as much strength as possible during this cut, in order to basically maintain as much muscle tissue as much as possible. And then after this set, I'll have my back off set, which is around sort of 160, where we're going to aim for sort of around 10, 11 reps before moving on to the flat chest press. chest press and pec flies done. A lot more better control on the pec flies this week. Now work on to prime laterals for 2 sets. Again, sort of 8 to 10, and then higher rep range for back offset. And one of the things you want to focus on when you are doing any sort of lateral movement, hitting the side delt, is leading with the elbow. Whether you're doing a dumbbell lateral raise, a machine lateral raise, you always want to lead with the elbow, just to reduce a little bit of tension in the forearm and really sort of maximise that side delt contraction. So even though machines like this will have handles, when I get myself into position, I want to make sure that I'm just thinking about driving my elbows up and away rather than a lot of grip and a lot of tension in that grip, just to reduce that sort of side delt contraction. And all I'm doing here again is just keeping my upper body nice and still, just really isolating the side delts, because ultimately that's the muscle group that I'm targeting. So I want to put as much contraction and much engagement in that muscle group as much as possible.
Woke up this morning feeling like a wreck, brains in a haze but I'm ready to flex. Put on my headphones, turn up the beat, gonna let loose, forget all the heat. Walking down the street, people staring at me, but I don't give a damn, I'm in my own spree. Swag on point, attitude so high, no, I know, Woke up this morning feeling like a wreck, brains in a haze but I'm ready to flex. Put on my headphones, turn up the beat, gonna let loose, forget all the heat. Walking down the street, people staring at me, but I don't give a damn, I'm in my own spree. Swag on point, attitude so high, no, Woke up this morning feeling like a wreck, brains in a haze but I'm ready to flex. Put on my headphones, turn up the beat, gonna let loose, forget all the heat. Walking down the street, get staring at me, but I don't give a damn, I'm in my own spree. Swag on pine, attitude so high, no, I know. Woke up this morning feeling like a wreck, brains in a haze but I'm ready to flex. Put on my headphones, turn up the beat, gonna let loose, forget all the heat. Walking down the street, people staring at me, but I don't give a damn, I'm in my own spree. Swag on point, attitude so high, no, on. Woke up this morning feeling like a wreck, brains in a haze but I'm ready to flex. Put on my headphones, turn up the beat, gonna let loose, forget all the heat. Walking down the street, people staring at me, but I don't give a damn, I'm in my own spree. Swag on point, attitude so high, no one. Woke up this morning feeling like a wreck, brains in a haze but I'm ready to flex. Put on my headphones, turn up the beat, gonna let loose, forget all the heat. Walking down the street, people staring at me, but I don't give a damn, I'm in my own spree. Swag on point, attitude so high, no one. Yeah, woke up this morning feeling like a wreck, brains in a haze but I'm ready to flex. Put on my headphones, turn up the beat, gonna let loose, forget all the heat. Walking down the street, people staring at me, but I don't give a damn, I'm in my own spree. Swag on point, attitude so high, don't want.
So it is a check-in morning with clients. So I thought I'd run through basically how I do my check-ins, why they're better than your coaches, and how they sort of help my clients get really good results. So generally speaking, when a client checks in, they will send a voice note or a video diary sort of talking through their week. I don't do any rubbish forms, type forms, jot forms, etc., where clients answer the same questions week upon week get bored of them, and after a few weeks just start putting 1-2 word answers just to get the form done and feel like they've completed their check-in. The video or voice note allows for them to talk about the week in the way that they want. Obviously there's some sort of direction in terms of what I look for as a coach in terms of knowing their progress and measuring their data, etc. So we look at what's gone well, so their wins, because there's always something, regardless of how busy or stressful the week might have been, there'll always be some sort of things to focus on. And I think from a psychological perspective, focusing on wins is really, really important. But also what's not gone so well, so what we can improve on, how we're looking in terms of the visuals and the progress pictures, any training clips that they've sent over for form reviews, because it's really important that clients are training, one, with the correct form and techniques so they don't bloody injure themselves, but two, they actually maximize what they're trying to get out of it. If they're looking to build muscle tissue, are we actually training in a hypertrophy aspect? If they want to get stronger and fitter, improve the numbers in their lifts, are they actually training effectively? And then where we can make those adjustments within their training to help them obviously progress on from things like plateaus and stuff like that. Once they've obviously spoke about things like that, they'll talk about what they've got coming up for the week ahead, so we can sort of get proactive with things rather than being reactive to things that might crop up. We'll use the check-ins as an opportunity to get ahead of the week. So if they've got socials, if they've got events, stuff at work, etc., that might act as a bit of a hurdle, or things to navigate, then we can plan ahead with that. So with things like socials, for example, maybe one of the things that we might look at is pulling back on calories on the days leading up to it. Maybe we adjust sort of the macros, so we reduce on the carbs. Maybe look at ways of increasing energy expenditure, and all stuff like that. But again, everything is, I guess, individualized to that client and what they've got on. And that's why the check-ins are so important. And the reason I do the videos or the voice notes is purely because over a form, it's very easy to cover up and mask up how the week's actually gone. If one of the questions on your form is, how has this week been for you? And someone just puts, yeah, it's been really great, but actually it's been quite a terrible week. Then as a coach, you're not going to understand or know that that's the reality. Whereas in a voice note or a video, it's difficult to mask that, because if the week's gone terribly, it's usually picked up in tone of voice or facial expression when it comes to a video. And I would know that. So then I know my clients can't lie to me, and not because they want to lie to me, but for me as a coach, I don't want to give them the wrong advice, or start celebrating a week that's gone terribly wrong because that's what they've put in a form. And then what they'll do off the back of that, or what I'll do rather, sorry, off the back of that, is then send a video response feedback, looking at obviously what they've discussed within their check-in, looking at the data on my coaching app, and then giving them the support and guidance for the week ahead in terms of what to focus on and how we're sort of going to run things. Now, with my client Craig here, who's been with me close to, well, I think over 2 years now, we are just entering into a fat loss phase for summer. So he's just spent the last few months going through a bulk, bit of a growing phase. And we've had to obviously manage that accordingly to make sure that, one, that we're not putting on that body fat that we've lost back on again, but also managing it in a manner that is improving his psychological and mental state. Now, one of the things with Craig, and he won't mind me saying this, is that from when he first started with me a couple of years back, he was ridiculously out of shape, storing lots of body fat, really unhealthy, had to make a drastic change. And from a psychological perspective, he obviously doesn't want to go back to that position. Why would he? But he knows the struggles that have come with that and the hard work that he's put in over the last couple of years to get to where he is. That when you go through a growing phase, you see the body, your scales go up again, or you see a little bit of body fat being stored in certain areas during a bulk. It can, sort of affect you a little bit and not really commit to that full growing phase. And so one of the things that we work on isn't just his physical state, but his mental and psychological state as well. Now, this growing phase, in how we're going to approach it, is going to be looking at obviously trying to shred as much body fat as possible ahead of summer. So we're going to go into sort of like a 10-11 week cut, and we can go quite aggressive with it. And the reason we can go aggressive with it with Craig is because of how his body responds, but also his discipline and commitment to previous fat loss phases. So I know with Craig, because of how long we've worked together, how he responds, his mindset, I know that what I give him and what I action with him is he's someone that will crack on and get on with it, regardless of what's going on. Might have a busy week with work, we might have some other commitments, but he always hits his step count. He always gets his cardio in. He always adjusts to certain tweaks that I implement. And that's why he's achieved such an amazing transformation over the last sort of couple of years. So I'm going to run through with him basically how the first week of the fat loss phase is going to look. It won't be too dissimilar to what he's used to and what he's done before, but I will just be highlighting and illustrating the changes I'm going to implement from the end of the grand phase to the start of his fat loss phase, and how we're going to go about these next few weeks and sort of what that process will look like. Got the last 2K steps to do, and what has been a truly beautiful day today. So thank you, sunshine, for coming out today out on a bank holiday Monday. It's been beautiful, and even now, what, 6:30 in the evening, day's definitely getting longer because it's beautiful. And if this doesn't excite you for summer and what's to come, then I don't know what will. But yeah, it's basically a wrap for today. That was a push done, followed by a bit of cardio afterwards, then client check-ins. I've even produced some content today as well, because Easter and seasons like Easter, Christmas, etc., always sort of cause me to rant and rave a little bit, and not because I hate these times of the year, like I definitely don't, but more to do with the fact that the fitness industry on social media has many coaches, and I know I criticize this industry a lot, but there's a lot of coaches out there that do really portray the wrong negative, not negative, but the wrong message to people that want to get in shape. And Easter is a prime example of that. I mean, you've got Instagram and probably even on YouTube as well, I'd imagine, coaches telling people that they can have chocolate over Easter, like you need permission, like you're an adult, but also for the fact that they'll say how many Easter eggs you can eat above your maintenance just to gain a pound of body fat, yada yada yada. And what happens is people will then look at that and go, "Oh, brilliant! I can continue to scoff my face and eat like a pig this Easter," and they'll be absolutely fine because this coach that I'm following on social media has basically said it's okay. But the problem with that is that people eat like that regardless of whatever time of year it is anyway. So, the week before Easter, they're scoffing their face on the weekends or going out getting bladdered. And the week after Easter, they're going to continue to eat like that as well. So it's not to do with the fact that it's Easter that is the problem. It's the fact that people eat like this all the time. So actually, they do need to have some sort of restriction, some sort of cutbacks. Yes, you can have a bit of chocolate over Easter. Of course, it's not going to be detrimental. But the problem is, it's not because it's Easter. It's, people eat like that all the time, and it just really grinds my gears because people need to be educated, really, and told, no, you do need to make some cutbacks because this is where you're going wrong. And until you earn the right by spending a prolonged period of time getting yourself in shape, getting yourself lean enough first so you've got low levels of body fat, high levels of muscle mass, having binges or an indulgence over weekends like Easter is going to have a negative impact if you're not at that stage. I've got clients that are incredibly lean, in incredibly great shape, that can afford to have a couple of Easter eggs, a hot cross bun here and there. And it's not going to have a negative impact because their lifestyle shows that outside of Easter, they look after themselves. But majority of people are not at that stage yet. And until you get to that stage, having Easter weekends and just having free reign or whatever you like isn't going to help you get in great shape. But nonetheless, I digress. It is a beautiful Monday evening. I'm not going to be too negative when the sun is shining. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy the rest of my bank holiday Monday, complete my steps, and see you for the next video.